The Western genre has always been about evolution. From the early days of silent films to the modern neo-Westerns of today, filmmakers have continuously pushed the boundaries of what a Western can be. But some films didn't just push boundaries, they shattered them completely, rewriting the rules and redefining what audiences expected from the genre. These aren't just great Westerns, they're revolutionary ones. Films that took the familiar elements of cowboys, outlaws, and frontier justice and twisted them into something entirely new. They challenged conventions, subverted expectations, and forced both filmmakers and audiences to reconsider everything they thought they knew about the American West. Today we're counting down 6 Westerns that redefined the genre, films that didn't just tell great stories, but fundamentally changed how Western stories could be told. These are the movies that proved the genre was capable of far more than anyone imagined, and their influence can still be felt in every Western made today. So holster your preconceptions and prepare for a journey through cinema history, because we're about to explore the films that revolutionized the frontier. Starting our countdown at number 6 is John Ford's Stagecoach, the film that single-handedly elevated the Western from B-movie fodder to serious cinema. Before Stagecoach, Westerns were considered cheap entertainment for kids and matinee audiences. Ford changed all that with one magnificent film. Stagecoach redefined the genre by proving that Westerns could be vehicles for sophisticated storytelling and complex character development. The film follows a diverse group of passengers traveling through dangerous Apache territory, but the real journey is internal. Each character represents a different aspect of American society, and their interactions reveal the prejudices and hypocrisies of civilization. Ford's masterstroke was using Monument Valley as his canvas, transforming the landscape from mere backdrop into a character itself. Those towering red rocks became the visual language of the Western, copied by countless filmmakers for decades to come. But more importantly, Ford showed that the Western could be a mirror for American society, exploring themes of class, morality, and redemption with unprecedented depth. The film also launched John Wayne's career as a leading man, creating the template for the Western hero that would dominate the genre for the next 3 decades. Stagecoach didn't just redefine the Western, it legitimized it, proving that stories of the frontier could be as artistically ambitious as any other genre. At number 5, we have Fred Zinnemann's High Noon, a film that stripped the Western down to its bare essentials and rebuilt it as a ticking clock thriller. This isn't your typical shoot-'em-up. It's a real-time psychological drama that redefined what Western heroism could look like. High Noon revolutionized the genre by abandoning the mythic scope of traditional Westerns in favor of intimate, claustrophobic storytelling. The entire film takes place in roughly real time as Marshal Will Kane waits for the noon train that will bring a vengeful outlaw and his gang to town. But the real innovation is in how the film portrays heroism, not as effortless courage, but as terrified determination. Gary Cooper's Kane is a hero who sweats, who shakes, who desperately seeks help from a town that abandons him. This was revolutionary. Western heroes weren't supposed to show fear or vulnerability. The film's famous final image of Kane throwing his badge in the dust and walking away in disgust was a direct challenge to the genre's traditional celebration of law and order. High Noon also redefined the Western's relationship with time and space. Instead of the vast landscapes typical of the genre, most of the action takes place on a single dusty street. The constant cutting to clocks creates unbearable tension, turning time itself into the film's primary antagonist. This intimate pressure cooker approach influenced countless thrillers and proved that Westerns could work just as well in confined spaces as on the open range. Taking the 4th spot is John Ford's The Searchers, a film that shattered the moral certainties of the traditional Western and replaced them with psychological complexity and moral ambiguity. This is the film that began the genre's long journey towards self-examination and deconstruction. The Searchers redefined the Western hero by making him deeply, disturbingly flawed. Ethan Edwards isn't just tough and determined. He's racist, obsessive, and possibly insane. Ford forced audiences to follow a protagonist whose motivations become increasingly questionable as the film progresses. This was revolutionary. Western heroes were supposed to be moral paragons, not psychological case studies. The film also redefined the genre's treatment of violence and revenge. Previous Westerns had portrayed violence as a necessary tool of justice, But the searcher suggests that violence corrupts everyone it touches. Ethan's quest for vengeance transforms him into something monstrous, and the film's famous final shot of Ethan walking away from the family home, forever excluded from civilization, became one of cinema's most powerful images of alienation. The film questions the very foundations of Western storytelling: the righteousness of the cavalry, the nobility of the frontier spirit, the clear distinction between civilization and savagery. It opened the door for the revisionist Westerns that would follow, proving that the genre could examine its own assumptions and find them wanting. At number 3, we have Sergio Leone's A Fistful of Dollars, the film that didn't just redefine the Western, it completely reinvented it. This was the birth of the spaghetti Western, and nothing would ever be the same. Leone redefined every aspect of the Western's visual language. Gone were the sweeping vistas and noble heroes of American Westerns, replaced by extreme close-ups, operatic violence, and morally ambiguous anti-heroes. The man with no name wasn't a sheriff or a cavalry officer. He was a mercenary who played both sides for profit. This was a radical departure from traditional Western heroism. The film's revolutionary approach to violence was equally important. Leone's gunfights weren't quick draws settled in seconds. They were elaborate, almost ritualistic affairs that built tension through extreme close-ups of eyes, hands, and sweat. Ennio Morricone's innovative score, with its whistles, bells, and electric guitars, created a new sonic landscape for the Western that was both haunting and modern. But perhaps most significantly, A Fistful of Dollars proved that the Western wasn't exclusively American. Leone's European perspective brought fresh eyes to familiar material, stripping away the genre's mythic pretensions and revealing the brutal capitalism underneath. The film's success launched the spaghetti Western boom and influenced American filmmakers to reconsider their own approach to the genre. Our runner-up at number 2 is Sam Peckinpah's The Wild Bunch, a film that redefined screen violence and marked the end of the classical Western era. This isn't just a great Western, it's a violent, elegiac farewell to everything the genre once represented. The Wild Bunch revolutionized the depiction of violence in cinema. Peckinpah's use of slow motion, multiple camera angles, and graphic bloodshed created a new visual language for action sequences that influenced every action film that followed. The film redefined the Western's relationship with time and progress. Set in 1913, it shows aging outlaws struggling to survive in a world that no longer has a place for them. The automobile, the machine gun, and the Mexican Revolution all represent the modern world encroaching on the frontier. This temporal displacement became a key element of later Westerns, which increasingly focused on the end of the Old West, rather than its glory days. Most importantly, The Wild Bunch redefined Western heroism by showing that there were no heroes left, only survivors. The members of the Wild Bunch aren't noble outlaws fighting injustice. They're aging criminals trying to score one last big payday. Their final stand isn't heroic, it's suicidal. The film's devastating ending, with its mountain of corpses and Pyrrhic victory, marked the death of the traditional Western and paved the way for the darker, more complex films that would follow. And at number 1, we have Clint Eastwood's Unforgiven, the film that didn't just redefine the Western, it deconstructed it completely, examining every myth and legend the genre had created and finding them all wanting. Unforgiven redefined the Western by stripping away all romantic notions about the frontier. There are no noble gunfighters here, no heroic lawmen, no glorious shootouts. Instead, we get aging killers, corrupt sheriffs, and violence that's ugly, random, and meaningless. The film's treatment of violence is revolutionary. Unlike the stylized gunfights of earlier Westerns, violence in Unforgiven is brutal, messy, and traumatic. When William Money kills, it's not clean or heroic, it's desperate and horrifying. The film shows us that violence doesn't solve problems, it creates them, and the men who live by the gun are forever marked by their choices. Most significantly, Unforgiven redefined the Western hero by making him a man trying to escape his own legend. Money isn't proud of his past, he's ashamed of it. His journey isn't toward heroism, but toward damnation. The film suggests that all Western heroes are really just killers who got lucky with their publicity, and that the myths of the frontier are built on a foundation of blood and lies. Unforgiven serves as both a masterpiece of the genre and its ultimate critique. It's a Western that questions the very existence of Westerns, a film that uses the genre's own tools to expose its fundamental dishonesty. In doing so, it redefined what the Western could be in the modern era. Not a celebration of American mythology, but an examination of it. And there you have it, 6 Westerns that redefined the genre. These films prove that the Western has never been a static form, but a constantly evolving reflection of American culture and values. Each of these movies took the familiar elements of the frontier and transformed them into something new, challenging audiences to see the Old West in a completely different light. From Stagecoach's elevation of the genre, to serious art, to Unforgiven's complete deconstruction of Western mythology, these films show the incredible range and flexibility of the Western. They remind us that the best genre films don't just follow the rules, they rewrite them, creating new possibilities for storytelling and new ways of understanding the world. These revolutionary Westerns didn't just entertain audiences. They changed how we think about heroism, violence, justice, and the American experience itself. They proved that the Western could be a vehicle for any kind of story, from intimate character studies to sweeping historical epics to philosophical meditations on the nature of civilization. Which of these genre-defining Westerns had the biggest impact on you? Are there other revolutionary Western films that you think deserve recognition? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear about the Westerns that changed your perspective on the genre. If you enjoyed this exploration of cinema's most influential frontier films, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss our next journey into the world of classic films. Until next time, this is Slow Dusk, signing off.